preparedness is a lot of times. Sure, absolutely. This pornography, this filthiness, to be launched to our children behind closed doors. And I started feeling I am filthy if I'm associated with an organization that allows filthiness to our children. That was bad enough. That would have been enough for me to feel that filthy association of being associated with it. But then I continue to see members, good people, good members of the church, defending, either blindly or blatantly, defending the filthiness that we expose to our kids. So not only are the apostles defending it, now we've got my fellow members that are defending it. And then the final straw, when I finally said, I've got to talk to my wife about this. What do I do about this filthy feeling I have? Was to start getting messages about our spotlight, where members are being threatened by their leaders if they support protecting our children. Story number one. Listen to this one. My wife was very devout and loves the church. However, she is a counselor and has counseled many people who have had terrible and shaming ecclesiastical interviews. Sam Young's effort on behalf of you has struck a chord with her. We happened to be in Salt Lake on the first Monday of his hunger strike, and she wanted to meet him. We went by and talked to him for about half an hour. She was impressed, took a picture of us with him, and posted it on Facebook along with a caption that we support Protect LDS Children. Hallelujah. We've seen so many people spotlight what is going on and spotlight their support. Good for this good woman. Today, our state president asked to meet with us. He invited our bishop. He wanted to know if we were in apostasy. He wanted us to say these words. The state president told them they needed to say these words. 1. The apostles are directed by Christ. 2. The changes that have been made are sufficient. 3. Sam Young is an apostate. Really? What kind of a church, when your leaders call you in and say, you have to say this because you made a post about Protect LDS Children? We also had to agree that this is what we would tell anyone who asked about us. Now this, I don't like comparing anything to Nazi Germany, but what do you compare this to? When your leader says, oh, you posted something about protecting children, you now have to make this statement to me right now, and you better tell this to other people. My wife could not do it. Hallelujah. Good for this wonderful, courageous woman. He said that if we were not willing to fully support the apostles and condemn Protect LDS Children, we would be putting ourselves in a path with grim consequences. He is making veiled references to excommunication without saying the words. So here we have, I am associating myself, yes, you can go by, continuing to associate myself with filthiness that we're putting our children through, members defending the filthiness, and then we have threats that you better defend the filthiness we have behind those closed doors, or you are going to be excommunicated. That really sent me reeling. Story number 2. A person posted and was threatened with her temple recommend. She backed down. Story 3. One has a calling with the youth and teaching seminary, and has been told that if she supports or protects the children, she can't be trusted around the youth. What the hell is that? Really? If you say, I do not want the filthiness that these 29 questions, I object to all that, and somebody says, okay, you're not safe to be around the kids if you don't accept those questions. It is just horrid. This is ludicrous. This is a terrible culture. Story number 4. Another person, this is just a heartbreaker. Just a heartbreaker. I look at this and say, I wish he had not shared. People have so much to risk in the culture, the Mormon culture of theater. Another person is no longer allowed to be allowed around her grandkids because of her support of it. She is heartbroken and is trying to decide what to do because they are her only grandchildren. What kind of a culture? This is not a culture of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is nowhere near a culture like that, where we defend filthiness. In fact, we won't allow our grandmother to associate with her grandchildren because she is going out of her way to protect them. It's just ludicrous. So, filthiness towards our children, enforced with threats. It's despicable. This is not of Jesus Christ. So last night I discussed with my wife, is the only way out of this filthiness to leave the church? We discussed the possibility of my resigning. Because I'm not mulled over it. What the hell would that accomplish? She was okay with that. But personally, I would be far, far away from the only organization on earth that openly condones children to be probed behind closed doors with filthy questions. I would no longer be associated with a church where their members are blind or actively defend the filthiness. I would not be part of an institution where the leaders threaten the good members who are trying to protect our children. But what about the children? I would be leaving them behind in the filthiness that the apostles facilitate and endorse. How can they possibly permit those 29 questions? To me, it is sickening. I've decided not to leave. But how to rid myself of the filthiness I feel being associated with the only church on earth who permits such conduct towards children? How do I rid myself of the filthiness of being associated with the only church that permits this horrendous conduct towards our children? My solution is an Ezekiel solution. I'm doing it for me, but I'm doing it in public to hope that it is just one more huge exclamation mark behind our name. Here's my solution and a message to the apostles and the world. My Ezekiel moment. You know, Ezekiel was ridiculed for what he did. Can you imagine the ridicule he got for eating bread made out of cow pies? Oh, thank you very much, Sam. Appreciate that. Well, you know what? I may be ridiculed for what I'm going to do today. But I hate the filthiness that I am associated with. I am going to symbolically cleanse myself from this filthiness. The church should also symbolically cleanse themselves from this filthiness. Every member in this church should not only symbolically cleanse themselves, they should literally cleanse themselves from the filthiness by eliminating it from my church, from our church. Get it off. Sam, you probably didn't know that. Sam's kind of the first one, the guinea pig. I'm going to want you to take your shoes off.
That's completely fine.
Okay, here, I'll take them.
I've got it.
Okay. So Sam, tonight, you are providing me with a great honor. The honor to minister unto you. The apostles could have done what I'm about to do. I'm not an apostle. I am a person that is trying to follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. I'm super imperfect at that, but I'm working on that. You and I sat down at a table over there a few days ago, and you shared with me some things from your past that I don't want to go into them unless you want to, and I'm not asking you to do that. In fact, you told me that was the first time you'd shared that with anybody. If this movement had come along before you were a youth, what happened to you would never have happened. So today, I view you, the person, the child, the innocent child that was shamed as a child. That is the Jesus Christ that I see sitting in this chair. When I minister to the sick, the naked, to those that have been harmed as a child, you are the Jesus Christ that I see sitting in that chair. As an ordained Mormon bishop, probably more important as a human being, as your friend, Sam, you've been down to several times. I consider you as a dear friend.
I consider you a friend as well.
Thank you. And attempting to be a disciple of Jesus, I symbolically wash the shame from your soul with love and care. I see you, Sam. I've heard you. What happened to you years ago was wrong. May this washing provide some measure of comfort and closure to your wound. I love you, my friend.
I love you too, and I appreciate all that you've done. I haven't been the victim of shaming as much as many people here have been, but the inappropriate questions, the from the competitive words and abuse, it's got to stop. And I appreciate the efforts that you're making. And
thank you for your bravery to come up as number one here.
that's right.
Okay, I mean, So Scarlett, I do the same thing for you. I'm an ordained Mormon bishop. I'm a human being. I'm now proud to claim my place as a human being. As someone who loves you and cares about you, who knows you. I've just symbolically washed away the shame, the harm, the damage that happened to you so many years ago. May this be a healing balm to your soul.
I told Sam months ago in March when we marched in Salt Lake City for all of the LDS children that I've waited 40 years for an adult to stand up for me for what happened to me as a child, and to be the bishop who actually stood up for me, because my bishop didn't. My abuse of at least 6 years, all of my elementary years, was swept under the rug. And it only came out, I was too afraid to tell anyone. I didn't tell my parents, I didn't tell anyone. And when the boy who molested me all of my childhood wanted to go on a mission, went to tell the bishop, he must not have told him much, but the bishop didn't do much either. He promptly sent him on his mission 2 months later. And when he called me in on a Tuesday alone, he said, okay. And he sent me home. He didn't tell my parents. He didn't tell the police. He didn't give me counseling. He didn't do anything. And my heart breaks. And every time I would lead children in primary as a chorister, I would just think, 1, 2, 3, 4, that little girl is going to have something happen to her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that little boy is going to have something happen to him. And our culture teaches us that whenever we have a problem, we go to the bishop, and that's not the solution. We need to teach our children that there are many adults that they can go to. They can go to their parents. They can go to their child's friend's mother. They can go to their school teacher. They can go to a policeman. There are many people in this world that can help them. So I thank you, Sam. I thank you for standing up for me and for all of the LDS children. And I see a brighter future. I see parents taking more control over educating their children and protecting their children and taking on that mantle instead of just giving it away and just hoping that any child that has a problem will go see a bishop. I see more personal interviews with parents and making it a casual thing. Just connecting with your children on a more regular basis. We can't leave it until Sunday or Tuesday when a child is alone and God forbid that bishop is not a pedophile. when that child tells that bishop. That would be the most horrific thing. And a child needs to be validated. They need to be believed. We have to believe our children. We need to be close enough to our children that they feel like they can come to us. And if someone's child doesn't feel like they can come to them, they have other choices. And we need to be teaching all of the children this, in case that's not being taught by a parent or a relative who might take advantage of them. And I love you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Storm. I appreciate it. I love you very much. And what Christ says, if we want to see Him, you serve the marginalized, you serve the vulnerable. And today, we are serving the vulnerable child that was a couple of decades ago. It's still a big part of you, a big part of us. So Tim, my friend, I hope you've got some things to say. But first, I want to say this, as I have to everybody else. I'm an ordained bishop. I'm a human being. I'm not proud of both those things. I'm someone who cares about trying to follow the gospel of Jesus Christ. And this is the center part of the right hand, where we just symbolically washed your feet to hopefully have that symbolically wash away whatever shame you continue to have in your soul, to know that shame should never have been there. You have great worth today. You have great worth then. There was never any point in time your worth was diminished in the sight of my Savior. So this is to symbolically, hopefully, eject that shame and help you in your healing path.
I've been following you for a long time now, online and on the street, and it's been an honor to meet somebody who is unlike anybody else that I've met before. I've never met anybody who serves with so much conviction and belief in the cause like you do. Okay, I should know this. And you're that man, and I appreciate it. I've been watching the Facebook comments on our live stream for the last 20 days that we've done this, 18 or 20 days that we've done this, and so many people have said, I wish Sam had been around when I was a kid. And that comment resonates with me a lot, because somebody like you, when I was a kid, could have prevented quite a bit of unnecessary damage. I had loving bishops growing up, very loving bishops growing up, who were put in the position of needing to go down inappropriate lines of questions, and I answered those questions. And with each question, it was elevated to either the next level of authority or the next line of questions. And my loving bishops, when referring me to LDS social services for reparative therapy for homosexuality, didn't realize that by asking those questions and by me answering those questions honestly, the trajectory of my life would change immensely after that. It wasn't until LDS social services where I met with a licensed clinical social worker that the questions got exceedingly inappropriate, and my identity was challenged, my relationships were challenged, and I was severely wronged by a process that is unnecessary, played out by people who are well-intentioned, may not know better, may feel coerced into doing that as I was coerced into answering those questions. So I agree with people who are commenting, where were you 20 years ago? But I'm glad that you're here now, and I'm proud to be alongside you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing it. That's some vulnerable stuff you just went into there. So thank you very much, my friend. I love you. Okay, so it's cold. It's colder on your head. Okay, so Melody, my good friend, your feet have just been washed by an ordained Mormon bishop. And where was I 20 years ago? I was a bishop 20 years ago, but not in Alaska. So, an ordained Mormon bishop, a friend of yours, as a friend of yours, as a human being, just like you and I are no different in that we're both members of this wonderful human race. I've just washed your feet symbolically to hopefully wipe away some of that shame all the experiences you went through. May this help you know that you were never less than anybody. You were always worth as much as everybody else. Your worth is great then, your worth is great today. Melody. And maybe Melody, and may this be part of your healing process. I know you told me it only started a few months ago, so I hope that this is something you will remember the rest of your life, and publicly being a participant in this. And some people just watching this, there will be people watching this that will be helped, and will be feel a burden lifted, that you came inside in the chair of Jesus Christ. In fact, that's what he told me to look for, for somebody vulnerable that needs help. I love you, my friend.
I love you too, Sam. Thank you. Thank you. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I don't think that you can be anything greater than a human being, that you have said that you're a human being. And it's funny because I just said her yesterday, I had some Mormon missionaries come to my door and I thought I'd just be nice, and they were so cool to me when they found out I wasn't going to church. They were just, and I said, why can't they just be human beings? They weren't human beings to me, and it was very hard. It hurt me. And the thing is hurt me because they were telling me how I could not be close to Jesus like I said I was if I wasn't obeying the covenant. But what I want to say to you is, when I was a little girl, I used to actually have dreams of somebody rescuing me. And then all the trauma, all the people, you wouldn't believe that one person wouldn't come along in a lifetime. You just wouldn't believe it, but it's true. Not one person came along to give me my power back. Say I am worthy. And maybe I can reclaim my identity. And I keep saying one is too many. I said that till I'm blue in the face online with people that say that it doesn't happen very often. Or that's your child that's the one that didn't happen to very often. It doesn't matter. One's too many. I don't know how to put it in words, but what you've done here is, it matters. It just matters. It matters. And I know people think it doesn't matter. They just think you should get over it.
You just don't realize how hard it is to reclaim your identity and your worthiness once you've been told that you're gone in the ways that I was, and when you had your power taken from you in the ways that I had mine taken from me. I tried with everything I knew. My Bible is wrinkled from the tears I cried trying to find answers. So I've talked too much, I know I do, but I love you, Sam. Thank you so much for doing this, and yes, it will help the healing.
So you know, it's not just one person that has stood up now. It's tens of thousands of people who have stood up now. You, Melody, are one that has stood up to be that person to rescue others. That's the one thing beautiful about the gospel of Jesus Christ, about human beings. We can, all of us are in a position to help others. And you are doing that right now, sharing with us. So thank you, Melody. I love you.